Hi, it's Nell, and it is a day that I'm just doing some potting and repotting projects and some gardening this afternoon. And I have this crested euphorbia here, and it doesn't really need a new pot. It just needs to be taken out of this pot and freshened up, or the soil freshened up, and then put back in. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to do it. And I wasn't going to do a video on this, but I just love this plant so much, and I don't think I've done anything on fleshy succulents in a little while, so I thought, why not throw this one in the mix? But this has been in this pot for probably about 5 years now. It sat on my front table in Santa Barbara when I lived there. I now live in Tucson, Arizona. And it was in a mixed planting. It was just a little 3-inch pot. And as you can see, it's grown quite a bit. It was, as I said, part of a mixed planting. You can see the sedum nuspamianum, the orange zest sedum there. I had shell with some green glass chips, some liquid amber pods. Over here, I think there's a few odds and ends of little succulents there. So I'm going to take everything out of the pot. Oh yes, and here's some interesting driftwood here, but it had more in it at one time. But I took some out, or it just wasn't doing that well, or in this case, the crested euphorbia started to crowd everything out. So I'm going to get everything out of the pot, and then I'm going to put the fleshy the tiny little fleshy succulent plants over in my planter with the other fleshy succulents that are going to be put into a big pot at some point, and then I'm just going to freshen this up. So I have the odds and ends of things out of the way, and I'm just going to run the knife around the edge of the pot to loosen everything up. And then I'm going to tip it on its side to get it out. And this, by the way, sits on my side patio, which is a sheltered patio. Oops, there is a mussel shell under there that I collected on the beach back when I lived in California. Oh, I think it's just going to come out this way. Good, so I'll just be able to show you that. Let me get my gloves on because my fingernails are so dirty anyway. They seem to get really dirty around here when it's hot. But that's because I'm always playing with plants. So here we go. This just comes right out like that. Oh yeah. And the soil in here really looks like it's a bit depleted, so I need to do a cleanup and a shakedown on that. Okay. So the plant came out easily, so I'm just going to pull these away. And there's one couple over here, and another one here. And you can either cut or you can just pull them. They're just pulling. So, and there's a little bit of dead under here, which I'm just going to cut off too, while I have the plant like this. And I'm just going to gently take off all the old soil, because I want to totally freshen it up with new soil and some compost and some worm compost. And that's going to make this plant a whole lot happier. Okay. All right. So see, the root ball really isn't that big, even though it's, as I said, probably at least 5 years old. So I didn't need to do a bigger pot yet. I just wanted to give it some some new some new planting mix to grow in that's nice and fresh, and it has some amendment in it. A great number of succulents don't root very deep at all, so sometimes it's not necessary to really increase the pot size, but this has grown a lot, as I said, so it's in nice proportion to the pot. So I didn't want to use another pot. I just want to freshen up the mix, and what I'm going to use is about probably like half succulent mix, and then half 1/4 potting soil and 1/4 compost. And the reason why I'm using so much of that is because I am in a very hot climate. I'm in the desert, and this plant, I watered it about 3 days ago, and it's already dry. So I just want it to hold a little bit more water in the shallow pot. You may not even need to add any potting soil, but it's always good to do some compost, because that's a really great way to amend. Okay, so there's the front of the pot there, because that's where all the chips are. I painted this. This was just a terracotta pot and put the chips on. So that's about right. It could use a little bit more. And then I'm going to put a layer of compost over that. And then around the sides, it's going to be the potting soil and the succulent mix. So it's in the pot now, and it's sort of leaning back a bit, but I will be able to prop it forward with some of the mix. Okay, so I have the potting soil and the soil in here. Just going to go around and get some in on the sides here. There we go. The power of the mix. It not only is good for the plant, but it also props it up too. There we go. Just hard to get it in, because it has all these tails and trails to it, and it's a little narrow space, so just have to kind of tuck it down in and get it in there, and then I'm going to have to do it on the back so that it stays. Ooh, yes, I've got to put quite a bit back here as I'm sort of pressing it in here lightly. Okay, time for more mix. And you can tell it's a euphorbia, because when you break it, it has that sap right there and there. The few places where I've broken off some of the pieces. But now it's pretty much, oops, see that? Just came off. If I wanted, I could just dry that, let it heal over for a couple weeks, and then stick it in there and propagate it. But I really don't want it, because I have plenty here. So I'm going to just top it with a little layer of worm compost, and over that I'm going to put the compost. Okay, so here we go. It's all finished. It's topped with the nice rich compost. It is looking good. It's going to be happy, because it had the old soil, the old mix shaken off. It's got new soil. It's got amendments. It had the other odds and ends of fleshy succulents taken out, so now it has room to grow, and it should be good in this pot for probably about 2 years now, maybe. So it's also, I think, going to hold more water now too, which will be good, which I want here. I still want the soil to run out, but I still want the water to run out. I just don't want to have to water it every 2 or 3 days here. So I'm going to put it over on the side patio, and I'm going to let it just settle in for 5 to 8 days, and then I'm going to water it after then. And it's about 5 or 6 weeks since the repotting, and this is how it looks now. And you can see on the right, it's got some wacky new growth coming up. Love that. So it's very happy. So I hope you have found this video about freshening up a succulent pot to be helpful. And I have a lot more videos coming your way, so be sure to come back. I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. Now let's get out in the garden and make the world a more beautiful place. As always, I thank you so much for watching. Bye.